Hey everyone, it's Joric. Welcome back. I hope you're doing great wherever you are in the world. Today I wanted to make a video. I had talked to a number of people. When I say a number, I think I count here 13 people in the last few weeks who were kind of frustrated at their inability to be able to make friends with locals, with Portuguese. We had lived in Lisbon for 5 years, and they were just wondering, do you have any tips or tricks for being able to get immersed and be able to socialize and become more like a local as opposed to hanging out with the expats all of the time or most of the time. They said, I don't know if I have a really good way. I don't have any smoking gun here, so spoiler alert, I don't have some wizardry for you on this other than um, a, a, it's cliche to say, but get out of your comfort zone. And that's something that I would recommend whenever there's an opportunity to meet with locals, to go to an event that's all in Portuguese. So you have to listen to it, have to speak it with people, and I think that's very helpful. And just going to, for example, we had a snack bar just below our apartment, a few steps away, and everyone in there, the shop owner spoke English, and his son spoke English, but we would talk a little bit in English, but then we try to talk Portuguese with them, and they helped us very much with learning pronunciation and things. Although we were still terrible at it, they helped us. But we would strike up conversations with the locals that would come in, and they'd see us enough to know that we weren't just tourists passing through. And it was beneficial to be able to get out of our comfort zone and just ask them a question about something. We watch a football match, and I'd make a comment about a player or something, and then that would strike up a simple conversation. And then we'd see them at the next football match, or a few matches later, they'd be there, and we'd do a cheers and or saúde and be able to talk about life or get more information. I will say, in general, and this is not just my opinion, this is coming from many people, including Portuguese. Portuguese are hard to get to know. They're hard to be able to crack that shell. And when you're a tourist going on a scouting trip, you go, "Gosh, they're so nice," and you're going, "That's not true. Everybody we talked to was nice and very open." You're a tourist, and yes, they speak probably English if you're speaking English, or they speak several different languages, so they're speaking your language. But when you live there, it's a different experience and not as open. And please note when I say this, because there's certain people that follow the channel that are Portuguese that give me a commentary about, that I don't like the Portuguese, and it's not the case at all. It's the complete opposite. But they're, as a generalization, more closed off because why would they invest their time in you? You're going to be a short timer. Maybe you're only going to be there 6 months or a year or a couple years. Why invest that time getting to know you, because you're going to be gone? And I'd say that about most cultures out there. They don't necessarily invest a lot of time in a new immigrant. But if you make the effort, more times than not every time though, but more times than not. So let's just say 51% of the time, or 50.1% of the time, you will have some relationships with Portuguese and with locals. And I wanted to give you some examples because we had, watching football, there were a couple of people that would invite us to matches, not their homes, oddly enough, but we could meet them at the pub, watch the match, go to the Benfica or Sporting stadiums to watch the match. Usually in the U.S., if we got to know somebody, hey, come on over and have a beer or have a drink or watch the game or something. It's a little more formal and a little more reserved on the Portuguese side. The interesting thing is we got to know all of our neighbors in our apartment complex. So there were 12 apartments, of which only 8 were occupied. And one of the couples was Polish, so not Portuguese. But our next door neighbors were Portuguese, people below us Portuguese, first floor Portuguese. And it was interesting. We'd have some great conversations. And I talked to our neighbors for probably 50 or 60 hours over 5 years, right outside their doorway, because their door and our door were like almost adjoining, just separated by a small little space. And we'd have great conversations and talking about the world and everything, what was going on in Portugal, how did we like our life, is there anything that they could do to help? So they were very open and I thought very nice people, but they never invited us in the house or in their apartment. The interesting thing is often I would walk in and I would wave them in, come on in. And they wouldn't, even though we invited them, often my wife or I, we'd be talking to them inside our apartment, they wouldn't come in. And we offered them cookies, we offered them food, we offered them wine, and we just thought it was odd. But again, it's not a judgment, it's just more of it's an observation that was made. And we found that was unique to us, that of the friends that we have that are Portuguese, I can't tell you that I've been in any of their apartments or homes. And it's not for a lack of kind of trying. Some of them came over, but we knew one person for 4 years and lived 2 blocks away. And then finally, as we were telling them, hey, we're going to be moving back to the U.S., finally came over and actually entered the apartment versus just standing in the doorway. But to get in is, I think it's not on the Portuguese to figure it out. It's up to you to make the effort and go into a place and try to learn Portuguese, definitely just at an A2 level, which is a grade school level, and really making an effort to learn their culture. I don't think it's their job to learn your culture or where we were from. I think it's up to you if you want to be in it. But even with that, it's an uphill battle. It's a tough one to be able to, crack the surface and be able to have them open up about, their lives or to talk about a topic or a subject. Even with, when we were there, Prime Minister resigned. We had some other, some political events that took place that often when we were in the snack bar or we go someplace, okay, that's a big topic. Maybe someone would want to talk about that. Often it was just, there would be a comment made, but then we'd go on to talking about something else. But there isn't necessarily a great answer, and I don't think any content creators really figured out in living there what to do to be able to get past kind of the, stoic exterior to be able to talk more with them in depthly. But I don't know that you have to. I mean, I'd say keep putting in the effort. If you want to live like a local, keep putting it out there, keep trying to communicate, keep trying to invite people over, get immersed in local Portuguese related events and clubs. And I think the more time that you do that and the less time you spend with expats who, for example, let's say speak your own language or from your home country, you will find you'll get some wins along the way and some successes. If you stick with the expat group, there's a likelihood that you're in your safe space. Okay, I don't have to speak another language. I can still speak my native language, or people know where I'm from, so we'll always have some regional things to talk about. But I would say just keep pushing yourself. Go to the local pub, the local bar, the one where there'll be Portuguese people, and try to start conversations and see where it goes. You may be surprised. I think that often I think the Portuguese in some cases get a bad rap for maybe being a little more quiet or more stoic, and I don't know if that's good or bad, but I'd say that we kept trying, and we were able to. Here's the great thing: with all of our neighbors, we were able to talk to them. We just weren't able to do it in our apartment, which was no big deal. We were able to talk to them in the stairwell, in the hallway, outside our apartment. We had a coffee shop close by, so many of them would meet and we'd talk for 2 or 3 hours and talk about different topics along the way. So just keep at it. And the less time, again, in your comfort zone, the more time being uncomfortable and trying to be Portuguese and learn the language, but also really take an interest and force yourself to talk and to interact with them. that's the best advice I have. I don't have, again, a great answer, but that's a reaction I wanted to give based upon people asking the question and wanting me to make a video. Is just put yourself out there. You made the effort and the investment and the commitment to move from your home country to Portugal. So while you're doing it, continue to invest in yourself and invest in the people that are there. Find out more about the country and the people who have made Portugal a fantastic place to live. As always, thank you so much for watching and enjoy your travels.